All right, we're live.
We're live.
Yep. Oh man.
What's going on?
I
We're exhausted.
yeah, sound good. I am exhausted. Holy cow. I think I've just got too much stuff going on. Swim team things kicking my butt.
Oh man, I feel you.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's good exercise, but man, now we're in the pool.
It's a good thing. High
It
quality
is.
leisure. I was just reading the book Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport,
Uh-huh.
and he talks about it. The reason why most people are not very productive is because they don't really have high quality leisure built into their life.
Oh,
What they
interesting.
have is low quality leisure. So I can predict most people, anyone who's listening, I can predict their work day right now. What happened yesterday? I know exactly what happened. It was like this: work, email, Twitter, Facebook, work, email, meeting, work, task A, work, email, text message, IM, Slack, work, meeting, work, phone, IM, text, Slack, work, text, Facebook, Twitter. And before you know it, it's the end of the day. And that's exactly what's happening to most people. And what was supposed to be high quality leisure that we should have time for, instead, that leisure is the time we give in front of our screens. So it's like um, the leisure is that Facebook check or that Twitter check or that time, watching some videos or going to news websites. That's what leisure has
Mhm.
become for people now. Instead of what should have been high quality leisure, something like what you said, swimming, running, all of that stuff, that is real stuff. That's what life is. But people default to the default leisure, which is the lowest quality of leisure, which is consumption.
Mhm.
High quality leisure is creation. High quality leisure is social time. It's actually learning, it's growing, it's improving, it's creating craft, learning a new hobby. All of that is high quality. But everything else that we do, which most people do, they've spent from 7 a.m. in the morning till 10 p.m. working slash interrupting themselves with low quality leisure. That's what they do. And that's their life. So high quality leisure is a requirement for a highly productive or highly for you to be able to do deep work.
Hmm. Well, I've got some high quality really hurt.
Yeah. Well, as long as it's just soreness, that's all good.
Yeah, it's just soreness. It's just yeah. The coach for the team, she's just yeah, pushes us. And I've trained for this marathon, but it doesn't translate to swimming 100%.
It's a different muscle group.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel it. Definitely feel it. So anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, and then I've been getting up early so that I can put in focus blocks on this other stuff.
On your business, on the
Yeah, yeah, on the
mastermind.
podcast and the yeah podcast, the mastermind. I think I spent about half of my focus blocks marketing the mastermind, and the other half of them
Oh,
keeping the
nice.
podcast running.
That's good, man.
So,
That's good stuff. That's where you see
um,
progress. If you
yeah,
can commit to 5 focus blocks a week on the mastermind, which is basically marketing,
yep,
you can get a lot of traction out of that.
yeah. I'm just yeah. The whole thing has just been this giant push, and the crap at work is crap. So
Yeah.
they pushed us for this deadline and then blew it off like it wasn't a big deal.
Hmm.
And yeah, now they're pushing us to get a bunch of bug fixes and polish on this thing to actually launch it, because the deadline we thought was for a launch, but it wasn't for a launch. I don't know what it was supposed to be for.
Hmm.
So I'm frustrated with that, but I pushed myself a ton last week for that, and now I'm kind of burned out on all of that, and so that I'm trying to just let it all go so it doesn't, because there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean,
that's also been a thing.
if
So
anything, you have to get your head down to focus on
yeah,
your business in the mornings, carve out the
yep,
time in the mornings. So whatever
yep,
happens in the day, you at least won your day,
hmm
right?
yep,
But do your 2 or 3 focus blocks in the morning for your business, and then the whole
yep,
day becomes easy after that.
yep. That's the whole deal right there.
Yeah.
So um yeah, but the nice thing is that if I get in and I get at least two, I mean, Tuesday and Thursday I get 3 in. I
Nice.
get up and I get 3 focus blocks in. I'm tempted to even get up an hour earlier than I have been on Tuesday and Thursday and get 4, see if I can get 4 in. I don't know, because I have to sleep. If I don't
Yeah.
sleep, then I'm not really
Yeah. You
doing
need
myself
sleep.
any favors, right?
I haven't been able to like. So there is this level at which it tapers off in terms of
Right.
how much energy your brain will generate. I feel like the 2 to 3 hours is the sweet spot where you get into the
Hmm.
zone and you really hum and you're really killing it. By the fourth hour, you need a break of some sorts. And the break, like this
I
is where
can
the
see
high.
that, but that's the only time I have.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's tough that way.
So if I could get a 4th hour in and I could make it convert, I mean, if I can't, then I can't, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I hear what you're saying, and I trust you on that. I kind
yeah.
of want to try it and just see where my limit is, but I
Some
don't know.
days I'm able to pull it off, but some days I'm like, okay, so what I do is like I'll do 3 focus blocks in the morning, and
Hmm.
then I'll go work out, and that
Right.
workout for an hour is just like I'm just set up all over again for another three
Hmm.
focus blocks. If I literally like, if there was a time when if I felt like I just couldn't finish everything, I would basically repeat this routine all day long. Three
Yeah.
focus blocks and a workout, and 3 focus blocks and another workout, and 3 focus blocks and
Right.
another workout. Because workout is basically the best form of energy. It's a reset. It's a reset
Yeah,
of
it
your
is.
mental, physical, emotional, spiritual energy, and you're back
Yeah.
the same old fresh person.
Yeah. One thing, if I could do it, so if I could do something like a focus block and a half, I do that, right? Because like the swim team gets over at 6, and
Mm,
so I'm home at 6:30,
mm.
and so I kind of have to drive that half hour myself, right? But yeah,
It's early morning swim team.
yeah. Hmm.
Dang, man.
5 o'clock.
Oof. Is it heated pool?
Oh yeah, it's way too warm.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, when I was in high school, it was also a rec center pool, but that pool was cool and it felt nice because you're working out. But this pool is the outdoor pool and they keep it really warm, and it's way too hot. I mean, the nice thing is you get your water bottle. This is the water bottle I take to the swim team.
Yeah.
And so I usually fill it halfway with ice and then I'll fill it up with water and take it.
Yeah. It's good, man. Getting that workout in, you never fault yourself for that. I would
Oh
take that
yeah.
all day. High
Yep.
quality leisure. It's not. I mean, it's not leisure in the term of leisure, but it really is. Like,
I know you said leisure, and I'm like, high quality leisure. It's not exactly laying in a hammock.
no, that's exactly what people think. People think, and this is what Cal talks about in the book. He says that people think leisure is the time where you're like, okay, I'm done with my day, and now I can just
Yeah.
relax and watch some TV and
Hmm.
do some, eat some crappy food and all that stuff. No, that's not leisure. That's actually waste. Leisure is when you actually re-engage your brain on something completely different, which is not necessarily work. And he gives
Right.
there are 2 examples of people that I really love a lot. One is Ben Franklin. He doesn't talk so much about Ben Franklin, but I love Ben Franklin. And the other one
Hmm.
is um, what's his name? Uh, Teddy Roosevelt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both of these guys were like maniacs about what they accomplished in their lives, insane accomplishments in their lives. And these guys actually had this very similar concepts of like leisure, as in they work very hard and then they play very hard. They do pursued
Mm-hmm.
hobbies. Like Teddy Roosevelt was a boxer and he used to read a book a day. And while he was the president of America, he would practice martial arts, and
Right.
he was insane with what he was able to accomplish. And the secret to his accomplishment was not, and he was one of the youngest presidents of America. I think he became a president at 41 or 42.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, he was the youngest president in America. And the reason for that is because he just worked in intense, short bursts of time, and then he would go and do other things with his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's partly what we try to do with focus blocks. Like work intensely when you are inside the focus block,
Mm-hmm.
and then go do other things with your life. Don't just, spend 16 hours in front of your computer. You can actually finish your work in 6 hours
Yep.
when you're focused.
Yep. Absolutely.
The high quality leisure is basically doing things that add to your overall growth as a human being,
Mm-hmm.
right? So high quality leisure is hobbies, it's pursuits, it's a heavy workout with friends or by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
or a long walk in nature,
Right.
or running or swimming or whatever that is for you,
Right.
playing guitar, learning, reading a book. And all of that is high quality leisure. What's not high quality leisure is wedging out in front of your couch, checking Facebook, checking email, checking Twitter, watching
Right.
Netflix. Yeah, once in a while you're watching a documentary that's like something that you really care for. That might be high quality leisure, but most people just default to living a life full of screen time. Worked all day,
Mm-hmm.
punctuated by email, phone, Twitter, Slack, blah, 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 blah. That is low quality leisure.
Right.
They're pumping into their veins. And then by 7, 8 p.m., they're so tired. They're like, okay, I just want to now watch some more screen and go to
Right.
bed. And I'm at a point where I'm actually starting to believe that screens are a life taking force, not a life giving force.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the sense, the more screen time you're spending, the more um, life they take away from you. So you need to minimize the screen time, not maximize your screen time.
Right.
Uh, you get life out of being around people, being in nature, doing, uh, you know, social gives you life. Being with people gives you life. Being in nature
Right.
gives you life. Pursuing important things that you truly value gives you life. But
Mm-hmm.
constant screen time takes life. It like is a dangerous thing.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So whatever we can do, we must like. I think the other principle here is that you will do your best work. You're not when you're not working.
Right.
It sounds as crazy as it sounds. You don't need to be.
Well,
Hmm?
yeah, I mean, what you're saying is it's exactly true. I mean, my brain chews on the problems when I turn my computer off and walk away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like the time when you're in front of your computer, you're executing and you're doing
Mm-hmm.
tasks, and that's important. It's important. But we think, the old industrial age thinking, that just time in front of your computer is all there is to your work. But actually, the time away from your computer is when you do your best work.
Mm-hmm.
So I do my best work when I'm not working. I don't even like, I'm not even trying to be funny about it. I actually mean it. I had
Yep.
this funny story with my operations manager. I was on a call with her, uh, our usual evening calls. And one day she picked up on the, like, after a few calls, she was like, oh, so she knew that I was actually on a walk when I was talking to her. Right. So uh, one day when we were talking, and she's like, I was like, yeah, I'm not in front of my computer because I'm walking right now. maybe we'll make sure next time onwards I'll do this meeting when I'm in front of my computer. And she's like, no, 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 no. Let me tell you why. And I'm like, what do you mean no? She's like, no, 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 because I know when you are on a walk and when you're in front of your computer. When you're in front of your computer, your ideas are very like same old, same old. There's nothing new. There's no freshness to your
Right.
ideas. You're just like, it just feels like you're just doing, you're just going, like, we're just finishing a meeting. We have the list of items and we're going through it. And it's
Right.
nothing revolutionary happens in that meeting. But whenever you're out for a walk and we're having the meeting, you come up with like the best ideas and you have so many great insights. So please don't you don't have to do the meeting when you're in front of a computer. In fact, I want you to take your time off and like do the meetings whenever you feel like it. And if like your nature time or whatever it is for you, it's totally cool with me. And that was I had thought about it, but I never realized how valuable it was. Right? I knew it was valuable to a certain extent. I understood the value of it, but when you get feedback like that directly from your own team members, you start to
Mm-hmm.
see a pattern. Like you start to see, oh shit, this is actually true. Like you're getting your best ideas when you are out in nature, not when you're in front of your computer.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting because I feel the same way in a certain sense that my environment, or just I don't want to say that my environment frames my thinking, but just being in a different place allows me to think about things in a different way is
Mm-hmm.
really kind of the thing, right?
Yeah. Being in
You
a
know,
different place and engaging in different stuff
yeah.
rather than just sitting in front of a computer or
Hmm.
sitting in front of a screen, right?
Yeah.
But
When I'm
taking a
sitting
break.
here, I've trained myself to operate and think in certain ways.
Yeah.
And
This
so
is
when
the
I get away
execution
from
mode.
here,
This is the execution mode, right?
uh-huh.
But if all you become is an execution machine, you lost the battle, right?
Yeah.
Because the much bigger game is beyond execution when you're actually thinking bigger and coming up
Hmm.
with strategic moves that just don't happen so easily in front of a computer. Those happen much better when you are, running or hiking or walking or
Right.
playing guitar or even reading a book. You get these insights, but not when you're executing. Like time in front of a computer is execution time. But the
Yeah.
remaining 16 hours or 18 hours a day to me are the time when I come up with ideas.
Hmm.
And I work 6 hours, but I come up with ideas in the remaining 18 hours. I come up with
Yeah.
breakthroughs, strategies, insights, mm, all that stuff. But
Yep.
earlier, I used to work 18 hours a day or 16 hours a day, and I used to feel burnt out. So I was like,
Hmm.
you can choose
Yep.
to live a life of low quality leisure, endless low quality leisure, or hardcore work and hardcore leisure. That's what I think of.
Yep.
It's the choice. Of course, there's like you can do whatever the hell you want, but the choice is low quality work commingled with low quality leisure all the time, or high quality work and high quality leisure separated very cleanly.
Yeah.
So,
It's interesting too that you talk about this, because like my wife, a lot of times um she wants to hang out and watch a show or something, right?
mhm,
And yeah, at the end of the time I don't feel that relaxed, but like I'll go put together a puzzle,
mm,
or I'll go for a walk, or something like that, and yeah, I feel more relaxed. um if I go for a long swim or a long run, right? Yeah, I feel physically worn out, but I feel mentally like I got a break.
mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. What you're talking about is another book, How to Live on 24 Hours a Day by Arnold Bennett. He talks about the idea
Hmm.
that our mental faculties don't get tired, they just need to switch to a different thing.
Yeah.
I'll actually read it out to you because that's what you're saying is exactly what's um, it's been something. Um, he says, Arnold Bennett says this in How to Live on 24 Hours a Day. He says, One of the chief things which my typical man has to learn is that the mental faculties are capable of continuous hard activity. They do not tire like an arm or a leg. All they want is change.
Mm-hmm.
All they want is change, right?
Yep.
But what happens for most people is that they look for change every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes in Facebook and Twitter and email and all that stuff. But that change is not truly a change. It's just pollution of your mind.
Right.
What you need is all out assault on work and then all out assault on play and then back to all out assault on work if you
Mm-hmm.
want. Like you work 3 hours, you take a break, then you again come back to work for 3 hours, you take another break for 2 hours and again you
Mm-hmm.
come back. You can go crazy. You can do a lot if you want it.
Right.
But those hours that you switch off to something else, like the reason why I can do 3 hours of work and then 1 hour of ridiculous insanity. Like I do 2 insanity max 30s. So anyone who's done
Mm-hmm.
insanity knows insanity is crazy. Insanity max 30 is even worse. It's just stupid because it's just so demanding. And it's worse than insanity because it's at a higher pace. Like it's nonstop for 25 minutes. And the first 2-3 minutes here and
I
there.
haven't done insanity. I've done P90X, and those are hard.
Yeah, P90X is hard. I did P90X, but then insanity is more of a body weight or
Oh, okay.
body only training, right? So you don't need to do, you don't need weights, etc.
Right.
So some days I don't go to the gym and I'll work out from home. But the Insanity Max 30, it's so freaking tiring. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, mentally exhausting, right? The most exhausting thing. But
Mm-hmm.
literally from that super exhausting thing, I come back to my work and I'm fully charged.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that change, all we need is a change, not to turn off the mental faculties, but to change
Mm-hmm.
what we are doing with them. So, and one of the things that Cal also talks about is that you should schedule more and more leisure, more and more high quality leisure into your life. Because once you start scheduling that, that's when you will actually break away from work and create time for your deep work.
Right.
It's basically what I advocate all the time with focus blocks. I'm like, do it and then go out and do other things with your life. Don't just, work 16 hours a day. You can get that 16-hour work done in 6 hours if you're super focused.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, high quality work and high quality play, or hardcore work and hardcore play, is way, way, way better than lame ass work and lame ass play, which is what most people do.
Yep.
Lame ass work and lame ass play. Their play is limited to Netflix, to TV, to YouTube, to funny videos, to some movies and all that shit, or checking Facebook and scrolling through Twitter and Facebook and Instagram
Right.
mindlessly. That's their leisure for most
Yep.
people. And that's just basically killing them.
Well, the thing is that it's easy to fall into, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about, kind of the lame level of work, but I mean, if you're just going to a regular full-time job, again, it's easy to fall into, right? Because nobody's checking up on you and you really don't have any skin in the game beyond, don't get fired,
I'm not even talking
maybe
about
look good
jobs,
in
but I'm
front of your
talking about entrepreneurs.
coworkers. That's true.
I'm talking about entrepreneurs who know that they need, or entrepreneurs or freelancers or creatives or people who actually have good intentions about their work.
Mm-hmm.
Even they blow it.
Yeah.
Even they blow it because they don't have structure throughout the day.
Yeah.
They just show up to work and they expect the day to go amazingly. They
Yep.
have great intentions for their workday. They may even time block their workday, but nothing happens, like we were talking about yesterday, right? So
Yep.
your intentions don't necessarily show the results of your work. Your intentions are good intentions, but if you look back at yesterday is a graveyard of all those dreams and intentions you had. The calendar from yesterday will show you the truth of what life was like.
Yep.
So even if you're an entrepreneur, your intentions don't mean shit. All that matters is, did you get work done, or did you stick to the focus? Did you did you stay focused for an extended period of time in large chunks of uninterrupted time, or were you just
Mm-hmm.
fucking around, dicking around?
Yep.
Which is what most people do. Like, the pressure of work is there, the intention for work is there. I used to do that. We all
Yep.
used to do that. We've all been there. We work 16 hours a day, feeling coming
Mm-hmm.
back home. Like, you wake up 7 a.m., work, email, text, work, phone, email, work,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, work, and the whole day goes like that. And project A, project B, project C, project D, task A,
Right.
task B, task C. Whole day goes like that. You come back, you're still swiping your phone, you're still going through the screen, and you're still doing all this shit. Not because you had bad intentions. You had great
Mm-hmm.
intentions for the day. You really wanted to do work hard. You really wanted to produce, but you still didn't do it.
Right.
You still didn't do it because you chose to, because you don't have any structure. You
Yep.
don't have any plan for high quality leisure at the end of the day. You don't really have a plan for when you end the workday. You don't really have a plan as to how to approach every single hour. You don't really
Mm-hmm.
have any accountability. So, even with the best of intentions, you're just sitting there doing your twiddling your thumbs and doing your work, and not
Yep.
really giving your most focused best.
Yep. Oh,
So how's it going with the mastermind?
it's going all right. Just I had 2 calls.
Hmm.
The one guy wasn't really a great fit. The other guy, yeah, I don't know why he didn't buy.
Really? What do you
Yeah, he
think?
was all gung ho.
Hmm.
Gave him the link, said he was signing up.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Hang on. When you gave the link, what exactly did you say?
He said, all right. He said he was ready to sign up. He had to check on 1 or 2 things.
Check on 1 or 2 things. No, no, no. When you gave the link, did you say, go ahead and sign up right now?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then he said he had to check on 1 or 2 things. And I said, all right.
Ah,
And he said, I'll get back to you. And I was like, all right. Yeah.
yeah.
But he sounded all excited about it. And then,
Yeah. When he said, check on 1 or 2 things, and he's like, okay, I'm going to get off the call and check
yeah, he
on one of
chickened
those things.
out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that sucks, man.
Yeah. I think, honestly, I think some people, when it comes down to, okay, I'm going to commit to this thing that I want,
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes them uncomfortable.
At cold feet. Yeah.
So
A lot of people.
a
And
lot of people.
that's part of our, that's part of us, in our sales job, to convince people,
Yeah.
to influence people to come to this side and to learn about it. Like,
Yep.
it's been it's been interesting selling focus box. There are some people I can easily, like, when I tell the concept, they're like, oh my god, I want it.
Yeah.
I want it right now. But then there are some people, I know they want it, I know they need it, but for me to sell to them, like, it's not
Yeah.
even something that needs a lot of selling. And I don't really
Yeah.
care to do that, because it's just a monthly subscription, very low cost subscription. So it's not like you have to shell out an arm and leg, or it's not hundreds of
Yeah.
dollars either. But even then, like, I'm surprised, because these are my friends, and I'm like, okay, you should sign up. And they're like, oh, oh my god. And I'm thinking, oh man, I failed as a salesperson. I failed as, as a member of my company, if I was not able to explain to them why exactly they needed it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So a sale, no matter how much they say they want it, oh yeah, this is great, and they're excited, unless they buy, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a failure
Yeah.
of a salesperson, in my opinion. And I failed, and that's why I'm kind of saying that. Like, I
Yeah.
failing to sell
I
focus box is like, what? How can someone not want focus box? It's It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I think there's some of that, but I also think some people, like when you, how do I put it? Like there's a certain level of that, right? Where you can convey the value, you didn't convey the value, you didn't, get them to the point where they were going to commit to and, um, you know, and do the thing, right? But then, um, the other part of it, or the other end of it, is that a lot of times what happens is you get them to that sale, you get them to the point where they're going to pull the trigger and do it, and that's when the resistance kicks in, because then they realize that if they do this, then they don't have any excuses to hide behind.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, all of this is still our failure as
But
a salesperson.
it is because
I
you
do
have to get
believe
around
that.
that psychology, right?
Yeah,
And I
if you're
failed to
gonna
get around
help
that
people,
psychology.
if you're gonna help people change their lives, you need them to
Yeah.
influence. You need, they have their reservations, and you need to be able to understand what their reservations are and
Yeah.
address them. So,
Yeah.
and more importantly, I think it's a more empowering way to look at your sales, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because if I don't take responsibility for it, there's nothing I can do about it.
Exactly. So if we just say, "Oh, that guy was a, whatever," we're taking responsibility away from ourselves. But if
Yeah.
we say, "Okay, well, what exactly did I not do? How come?"
Yeah.
Like, I almost feel like almost feel sad for people who decide not to buy focus blocks, because I'm like, dude, I will. This will change your life. I know that. And like in that struggle, in that moment, like part of me is like just like, "Ah, I know this will change your life. How come you don't want it?" And that's
Yeah.
part of us as a salesperson. Like we almost have to believe it so strongly. Like you need it. This is like, this will change your life. How come you like, no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
being able
Yeah.
to get to the point where you are like, dude, you need it. This is not for me anymore. I know you need it.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's I guess what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to understand the psychology and just talk my way through it. And okay, so if this is where they're getting stuck, then how do I get around it? Right? How do I help them? I don't know.
yeah, yeah. That's what, like, the more sales calls you do, the more you learn this craft,
Yeah.
right? What
Yeah.
exactly? That's almost never, like, this is something I learned. It's almost never like when they say, when if they don't buy, we can all have like 1,000 reasons for why they didn't buy. Ultimately,
Mm-hmm.
the thing that it boils down to is they didn't see the value
Right.
in the offer,
Right.
right? Because even a homeless person finds value in food, and they will spend all day collecting just enough money to get some food,
Right.
right? They will not sign up for your podcast mastering class, but they will sign up for, a place to go buy $3 worth of food,
Mm-hmm.
because the value is there to them. So the
Right.
value is always the last mile. Like, do they not, like, if they didn't see the value ultimately compared to what they have to pay, they're just walking away.
Yep.
So
Yep.
how's the podcast going though? Like what, the Dev Influencers podcast?
So I ramped it back up now that I've kind of passed the non-deadline deadline.
Hmm.
Um,
And now that you're doing more focus blocks.
yes, now that I'm doing more focus blocks. Um, so yeah, I'm good to go on all that. Um, and yeah, so I'm just going to be knocking that out of the park. The other
What's
thing
the
is the
how many
more
down?
sales, the more conversations I have with people, the better off I am. So I don't think we released any of those this week. I think we're going to start releasing them again this next week, now that I'm recording them again.
Well, how many downloads did you get last month? Or how many downloads are you getting right now per week, or whatever number you have?
I have to switch shows here. Hang on. Listener statistics. So it looks like I'm getting about 40 downloads per episode.
Okay. Are you still publishing them on DevChat, etc.?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good. Well, how much are you getting on those? That's what matters. Because this is really small right now.
Yeah, it is really small right now.
Yeah, all that matters is that you're getting downloads.
Yeah, I'm getting like 40 downloads per episode.
No, not on this podcast. I'm saying overall across the network.
Oh, I haven't been pushing them to the other shows.
No, dude.
I've been pushing bonus episodes out to those.
How often are those, and what do you do in those bonus
like
episodes?
every week.
And what are in those bonus episodes?
It's some of the same kind of thing. Let me see if I can get some numbers on that.
I mean, if you're doing bonus episodes there, why are you like creating multiple content pieces?
Yeah,
you might as well just stick, like record one episode, put it as bonus on DevChat, and put it as normal on influencers, and that's it.
That's true. I should just do one or the other. Yeah, the bonus episodes are getting like 12, 15, 13, 14, 15,000 downloads a piece. Yeah.
But are these bonus episodes directly driving traffic to dev influencers?
Mm-hmm.
Each of them?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
They're driving it directly to the application page.
Really? devinfluencers.com/apply?
Mm-hmm.
But you're not getting that many hits on that anymore. Well, how many hits did you get last week? So you got 15,000 downloads, and you're publishing every week? The bonus episodes?
Just about every week, yeah.
Huh. Okay. How many hits did you get last week?
Let's see, let me change the time frame on this. Last week. Let's change it from last week to, let's do this week. About 43 hits.
Yeah, something is wrong.
Yeah, there's something wrong going on there.
Mm-hmm. That does not sound like, yeah, something is 15,000 downloads should get you.
Yeah, so the last one was released on the 3rd of June. Got 11,359 downloads. And then from June 4th to June 10th, yeah, got about 40. It's 43 page views. 40 of them are unique, according to Google Analytics. Boy, if I could get that number up, right? Assuming that all the other numbers hold steady.
Yeah.
I'd have those strategic calls booked out like crazy.
Yeah, 15,000 downloads to 40 hits. That's 15,000 would mean 1,500. That's really bad. That's
really bad.
0.25%. Like, yeah, 0.25%.
I mean, I haven't been like stacking it up the way that, we've been talking about doing with
Yeah.
the like the how do I put it, like the whatchamacallit, the
Yeah.
like
Any
selling
like,
focus blocks and things like that. So I could probably do one of those that's a little bit more targeted, or a
well, it
lot
really
more
depends
targeted.
on what you're doing in those. Because if you're not
Yeah.
driving those properly, if you're not, if your calls to action are not being driven properly, if your setup is not being done properly, you don't really get the
No.
value out of it. It just basically takes you out. Um,
Yeah, I haven't really been.
give me an overview of the last bonus one that you did on the chat. Like, what did you talk about, and how did you lead it into your mastermind?
Yeah, so basically what I did was I talked about how in order to get what you want, you need um, skills, relationships, and uh, like reputation.
Hmm.
And then I talked about essentially how to build each one, and that in order to build the last two, you need something like a podcast in order to get it, and how to, and so you need to be an influencer, and so the pitch was, if you want to become an influencer, then you should apply to the accelerator so I can coach you through it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting angle. It's a decent angle, but hmm, didn't get anywhere close to the number of hits you would have
Yeah.
anticipated from it. Um, yeah. Well, you have to keep pumping your.
Yeah.
If anything, you have to become more intentional with your content
Yeah, I do.
and not let it wander off and not let it go into any random thoughts and streams. You
Yeah.
have to, because it's one thing in an interview, there are two people and they can keep each other in check. But if you're doing a solo, it's easy to like
Yep.
go off into the weeds. Do you outline them with a mind map or something
No.
before you record them?
Nope.
Yeah, because then it might be like you're wandering,
Probably.
right? And if
Yeah,
you're,
I should just sit down and just plan it out.
you should outline them all the way down to how you'll get them to click on that link. I
Yep.
think your content is not delivering on the promise because it's like, I would much rather, like, if you're doing a 30-minute episode, I would much rather you do a 10-minute episode, which is super clear, precise, and sharp
Right.
and to the point and gets to that jugular, gets to that end
Right.
results where people are forced to take action, compared to 30-minute rambling where you think you're talking about the topic, but people have
Hmm.
tuned out and you're not getting the results that you want. So you have
Okay.
to really think about that. I think you should be aiming for at least 1% hits.
Yeah, I agree. Well, if I
Mhm.
got 1% hits, that would more than double what I'm getting.
Yeah, quadruple, but let's just say double would be a good start. But that's only going to happen if your content is on point. So if your content is, because yeah, you're doing the math. Let me do it for you. 15,000 people, 1% would be 150 people. That's,
Yeah.
instead of 40 hits, you get 150. That's four times.
Yeah, I was just doing the math on the last one, which was 11,500.
Hmm.
Yeah, even then it's still triple.
Yep, triple. So yeah, it's important to
Yeah.
have your content very sharp, especially when you know you're making a sales pitch. You have to treat every one of these as a sales pitch. You have to
Hmm.
know that this is not a ramble. This is a very finely tuned. If anything, you have to be
Yeah.
much more like, this should be your best work that you put out
Right.
on a daily, on a
Yeah,
weekly.
and it's easy for me to lose track of that because I just want to make content. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, just make content is not good enough. You
Yeah.
have to have very tuned content, and that means you have to plan it out and make sure you you know
Mhm.
plan and do that damn thing rather than ramble. So
Right.
you must treat each of these episodes as a webinar, as a sales pitch,
Right.
and not sales pitch, but more like a webinar where you teach on the topic and then make an offer, teach and make an
Right.
offer, teach and make an offer. Because anything
No, that
less
makes
than that,
sense.
you're just gonna lose the audience, and it's not gonna help you. It could hurt you because
Mhm.
people who tune into just that episode, they're like, I don't know if I want to come back to this podcast anymore,
No,
right?
that makes sense.
So you should plan it out all the way. The way I would
Mhm.
plan it out in this,
Dev influencers needs to be that.
yeah. Well, dev influencers and like dev chat too has to be very precise.
Yeah.
Whatever you put out there. So the way I think about it, you should almost plan it out like a highly staged YouTube video. So the way I do my YouTube videos, there's a hook. I
Mhm.
start with the hook. You can call it a angle or a hook, and the hook promises an outcome of some sort. Of like, this is what
Right.
you do, or this is what you're gonna learn, and then you go into the body, right? You go into explaining maybe 3 concepts into the body, and then you build up the case for something, and then you ask for a call to action. So the
Okay.
hook is the most important part of this whole thing, to get people into it, to want it. Not only that, your headline has to be super crisp too.
Mhm.
To the title of the episode to get a lot more downloads.
Right.
So the
No,
title,
that makes sense.
you should always, like, you don't sit down to record a podcast episode without a clear title and hook in your mind. So you actually need the
Mhm.
title, you need the hook, you need the point, and you need the call to action, and you need all of those very clearly defined before you jump into an episode like this.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Cool, man. I think we're almost coming up on time. So
Yeah, I think so too. How are
what do
things
we
going
got?
for you?
Things are good. I mean, every day it's like figuring out how to market focus blocks.
Yep.
All we're doing all day. We're running ads, and that's going well. Our own internal list, that's going well too.
I
So
know I saw you writing emails this morning on one of the focus blocks.
yeah, I'm like constantly writing emails, constantly writing new emails, and like
Yep.
my copywriter, he's working on 2000 book stuff, so I can focus more on focus block stuff. And I feel like early on when you're like launching a new product, it's difficult to get a copywriter to be able to write at that level of depth. You
Hmm.
really need to clarify a few things before you bring on a copywriter. So I'm like, okay, I asked the copywriter to write copy, but I know it's not going to be anywhere close to what I will write, because I'm basically writing from my heart when I'm writing these emails right now, because
Right.
of how I feel about focus blocks and what people are telling us about focus blocks. So it's like all my time is spent on teaching people about the core concepts of focus blocks, basically, whether it's in an ad, whether it's in email marketing, whether it's a YouTube video. I spent all of my time just doing those things right now. That's it.
Right.
Creating more YouTube videos, creating more email marketing, and creating more ads,
Yep, that
and
makes sense.
improving the copy on the sales page for focus blocks. That's all I do. What about you? How's
Yep.
everything? Like, yeah, that's really all my life is now. Spending a lot more time, basically. So I'm gonna talk about something that was interesting that I thought about. Marketing is a game of simplifying your message
Hmm.
down to the bare minimum and being able to convey that very precisely. And this might be just my thought for the day, for the week, which is, in marketing, you are constantly fine tuning your message to the reach the right audience, and to be able to cut through the noise and grab them by the throat so they have to buy your product or service.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a journey. Like it's not as simple as just sitting down one day, just like you figured out with writing your landing page. It took you a month to come up with a headline that actually made sense, right?
Right.
And marketing is a journey of being able to simplify the messaging to the point where it instantly clicks with people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's quite a journey. Like I did not realize how much simplification things need compared to what we end up writing.
Yep.
So simplification in marketing, simplification is the ultimate sophistication in marketing too. The simpler the messaging in marketing, the better you sell. And that's what I'm working on right now. So that's my thought for the day.
Yep. And I'm going to circle back for my thought back to what you were saying before, because yeah, I mean, I think what my brain is kind of catching up to with what you're talking about on the kind of these bonus episodes or dev influencers or whatever you want to call it, however I wind up reconciling how all of that goes,
Mm-hmm.
is that I was making content that made me feel good about me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, that's ultimately what I wound up doing. It's like, hey, I'm back, and what I realized is that I need to be focused on what outcome I want people to have. Right. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's, hey, the outcome is I want people to go click on that stupid link. I want people to go to that page and put in their email address and fill out the application and get on a call with me. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if I can have 100 people go to that page, if the numbers hold, and I don't see any reason why they wouldn't, right? But if the numbers hold, then at the end of the day, then I'm getting 3, 4, 5 times more people than I otherwise would. The other thing is if it's a 10-minute episode, they're probably more likely to listen to it.
Mm.
And so yeah, I mean, now that you say it, it seems kind of obvious, but yeah, I'm making the content for them, and I'm making the content for them so that I can put the message in front of them that is going to help them take the next step. And so anything then that this goes back to a creative writing class I took in college. We always got the ONW on our paper, which meant omit needless words. Right. And so it was anything that didn't tell the story, right? Anything that was superfluous, that didn't convey the story, that didn't paint the picture, that didn't get the reader where you wanted them to go, needed to come out, right? It was too flowery. It was too this. It just was extra. Sometimes it was just extra, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all of that needs to come out. It just needs to be focused on what's going to connect with the listener and get them to the place where they are going to take the next step.
Agree.
And then the same thing on my sales calls, because a lot of times I just chit chat with people.
No.
And I don't need to be doing that. I need to be taking
is like
this
low quality leisure work.
Yeah. I need to just be doing the work to get them to the next call.
Yeah.
Or get them to the next step. And that next step is, are you in or out, right?
Yeah.
Are you serious about this? I mean, honestly, I need to be asking more people that.
Yeah.
I mean, do you really want this or not? Right? Because if you do, then great. If you don't, bye-bye. Right?
Exactly.
Because I'll go find somebody else who wants it and I'll go help them.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's interesting because, and I guess this is the other part of the thought is I don't know that I'd have these breakthroughs without talking to you.
Yeah, that's always like when we talk, when we start to converse is when we come up with these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
So,
which is the whole point of the
value
mastermind.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, the big thought is yeah, just that. It's okay. What's the outcome, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if I should be doing this with the other podcasts, right? Is what's the outcome, right? Where does the journey end after every episode, right?
Yeah. What's the call to action? People don't realize getting clarity on the call to action is the first step in creating content.
Yeah.
People think that's the last thing. No, that's the first thing.
Yep. Because
Knowing,
everything else leads up to it.
yeah, knowing people think writing the title of the podcast is the last thing. No, it is one of the first few things you do.
Mm-hmm.
You begin with the end in mind. So the end in mind is the call to action. With that end in mind, you have to realize, okay, if I wanted that call to action, how would I get people's attention? Which means what kind of headline would I write? And so it goes.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like this. I'm gonna go get in my car.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
Right? Why? What?
Yeah.
Why? You know, it am I going to Disneyland or am I going to the grocery store?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Exactly.
It,
Yeah.
it matters, right? Where I
Yeah.
want to end up, right?
100%.
Am I getting some high quality leisure running around the park with my kids? Or am I getting vegetables, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. Got clarity on
You
the
don't,
outcome.
yeah. So you start with the outcome. You start with that call to action.
Yeah.
Instead of I'm gonna go get in my car.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Good stuff.
All right.
And for anyone who's listening, if they want to join Focus Blocks, it's focusblocks.io.
Yep.
BLOCKS. All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.